This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so it is completely new to me. And yeah, right, let's see. I don't know. Anyway, I think chat is kind of like mutable, and so it's, I sent some messages, now it's gone. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get started. So I think mics are working. I think so. It's fine. All right. Yep. Oh, cool. Right. So let me share the screen. All right. I'm pretty new to like this kind of thing, so please bear with me. All right. Oh no, this one. So what are the keys? All right. Okay. Okay. Now I'm good. All right. So first I need to thank people at Basel and especially Shu and of course Sergio to create this library, and without that I cannot do a tutorial like this. And also I need to like mention React Query as well, so it is something similar, and yeah, it's something similar features and quite a little bit of differences. I haven't used React Query much, so I cannot give brief give a detailed explanation of how it does, but I heard, and yeah, it's kind of similar. All right, so let's get back to the business. Okay, so here we're looking at a to-do app we're trying to create, and I know this is 2020, and trying to create a to-do app in 2020 is kind of like a it's kind of like a joke, but anyway, like but we can learn a lot creating a to-do app. So here's what we're gonna do. We have a app which renders something like this, and then I can add to-do items, and they get updates. So basically when I add a to-do, it has a loading state, and it's not blocking the UI, but you have a loading state. When it's saved on the DB or in the API, we get a the nice usual state. I can add something like this, it get updated, and I also add some errors. So errors mean this error is coming from the server. So then I get rendered like this, and if I change the tab and come back, so those errors are gone. This is automatic something happening inside the SWR. So this is what we're gonna create from scratch. Not every bit of code, but I'm gonna show you. For that, I have a term here. I have the master. So let's get the master branch. All right, then everything is good, and let's okay, let's check the screen again. All right, okay, right now I'm using this guide, my guide how to use SWRs, just to like to get some code and using it. Here we use the GitHub repository and I clone it locally, and I'm using it. So first let's try to use this app. So basically I can add some to-dos. As the card says, we're not using SWR right now. Yeah, it's working, but I refreshed that one and it's gone. Basically I'm keeping to-dos inside the memory. Okay, so let's check the code. We have the pages. This is the Next.js app, of course, and then we have the index page, and then inside that we got the normal usual things, and we have a component called to-dos, and this is where everything happens. So I can go to the todos.js. It's a simple functional React component. We have some data array, and yeah, we are pushing into that and rendering. And I'm using something little trick I use here. We have a key, which is a state, and it's a random number. If I want to re-render the UI, especially this component, this is the UI component, I change this component and it will re-render. And this is a trick I use, and I think this is quite useful. Right now this is not, we are not using SWR, so now let's try to edit. All right, then I'm go to the browser, and let's get the now we're trying to use SWR. So we have like a API endpoint called API/todos. I'm going to use this API endpoint to get to-do items, and then later we are going to use this another endpoint, post endpoint, to create a to-do item. So first I need to install SWR. This is how you do it, but I already done that, so I don't need to do it. So let's get this code, and I'm gonna use that inside the components to-do.js. Basically, it's SWR. So I'm gonna show you what it does in a couple of seconds. Right, let's replace the code base. Right, so now it's fine. Then let's try that. Okay. Now, right, so I'm not trying to add any to-dos. We're running. Yeah, it works. But if you're trying to add something, it will fail because we haven't implemented that logic yet. If you look at the code, pretty simple. We have the SWR import. So it's a hook, React hook. And then we have something called fetcher. So this is the way how we can fetch data. It could be anything. You can use anything inside this. You have to return a promise with some data. And this input is a path, and I'm gonna use that one. And here we use the hook. We use SWR, and we pass a string. There are some other ways you can pass it. Stop. But here we use the API path, and then we use the fetcher. The interesting thing is, this is not the API endpoint. This is what we call the cache key to the SWR. So that's how SWR keep track of the data and how it manage everything. So this could be anything, and then this also pass to this fetcher, and then it can fetch data from anywhere and then use it. And that's how it works. So then we got the data, and then we can if data is not there, we can show the loading screen, and you can also check for the error. We're not checking it here right now. And then then you can render the data as you want, and that's it. And that's what we do here. Right. It's pretty straightforward, and we can render the data. So now let's try to add the to-do item. So here, before that, I'm gonna show you. Let's say you want to use GraphQL without any other library. You can use fetch and talk to the GraphQL endpoint and get the results. And that's here we use a GraphQL fetcher, and that's it. And then you can pass the query as the query cache key. That's it. All right, next step, let's try to add the to-do item. I'm gonna copy the to-do item, to-do function, and I'm gonna replace this one with the current empty logic. All right, so let's format this one. Okay, looks good. So basically, before we do anything, let's try the app. Okay, then let's try to add some to-do item. Say 1. All right, mutate is not defined. Right, so here we are using something mutate here, but we haven't import that one, so we have to do that. Copy this command. So basically, you have to import mutate from SWR as well. So that's why we got that error. So let's try it again. Okay. All right, then let's try to add one. Okay, it's working. Basically, I can type the to-do item and click add, and it's kind of blocking the UI for a couple of seconds, and then it adds. And let's see why something like that happened here. It's not looks nice. You don't want to wait 2 seconds to do that. So let's see what's happening. So here we have the add to do function, and then we have a HTTP call, a usual fetch call. You can use any library, maybe Axios or anything you want. So basically, I'm adding the call in the to do API, and I'm trying to add something. And this is not related to the SWR. This is completely out of scope. And then if there's an error, I'm throwing the error. That's fine. And then finally, I'm calling the mutate. So basically, here we have this mutate function coming from SWR directly, and then we have this cache key, and this is our cache key using for this data set. And then it will fetch the data from the server again, and then replace the local cache with the server data. So that's how we can see the new data. And while we are doing that, the UI is blocked. There are a couple of ways you can fix this. The one way is you can add a state here saying loading, loading through, and here you can set it false, and so then likewise you can render the screen like that, depending on that state. But sometimes it's how you do it. But in the case of to-do items, I don't want to do that functionality, and that's not how I want it. So this is something that I expected to do, expected to have. So we have the to-do item, and then we have the something like this. UI is not blocked, and usually this is called as optimistic UI. And when in the Meteor days, Meteor JS, when we had this feature very long ago, we call it as a latency compensation, and it's something used in gaming games when you are playing online games, and this is something very useful. All right, right then let's try to add this functionality. So let's go to next section, and let's grab the to-do item. Okay, this is the new add to do function. Let's paste that one here. All right, and then the format the code base. And before we discuss, let's give it a try how it works. All right, so let's see. All right, so here my screen is sort of waiting. All right, now it's good. Okay, let's add some to do item. Okay, yeah, now it's working. Amazing. Okay, let's see how we're doing it. Go to the code. So just like the add to do function, here we have something interesting. Now we have a fake item, fake to do item. We have the name, of course, and we have the ID with a random ID, and then we have a flag called client only, and I'm gonna show you what's this and why we have this one. And then we call the mutate, but we pass the data. We pass a different manually created data array. We use the data from the data coming from the SWR directly, and also we append the fake item and put it to the cache, and also we pass the false here. This is very important. And here having the false, we ask the SWR not to fetch data from the server. So then SWR will use this cache directly. And by doing that, that's how we can show the fake item on the screen. And then it will show the fake item on the screen. And then we can reset the UI. The input box is gone, cleared. And then we do the actual API call. We add that anything to the database. And once it's done, then we call the mutate. And then it will get the latest version from the API and then update the cache. So then this fake item will be gone because we replace everything. All right, so that's how it works. So let's give it a try one more time. Yeah, like that. There's a loading kind of indicator, and then varied. So let's say how we're doing it. It's pretty simple. Let's say we have client only flag. So when we are rendering this to do item, here we can see we have this client only flag. Then we add a new class called client only if we see this field in the to do item. So that's how we add a different style. But when we are getting data from the server, this field is not there, so we're not adding this class, and yeah, that's why the UI is changed to the normal state. So that's pretty simple and how we're using. And I'm here using a simple utility called class name. I don't know this is the right way to do it right now. I don't know, but I used this library a few years ago, and I think it's still useful. Right, Sergio mentioned hi. Hi Sergio, and I think you are a guru in this chat by SWR, and yeah, if I'm doing something wrong, please ping me. All right, okay. So that's it, and that's how we do like optimistic UI. Oh, really? But there's a problem. So what's the problem? So let's try to add a couple of items. All right. Oh, so UI is. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of terrible. I don't know any word to describe this behavior. I think it's kind of unstable. But that's a problem with the approach we took, and let's fix it. Right, for that one, so let's replace. Let's copy this code base. I'm going to show you where we're gonna use it. So basically, we have go to our to-dos. All right, not that one. Here, this one. This is our component, and here I'm gonna replace this mutate. All right, and then replace this code base, and I'm gonna format it. So what's happening is a little bit interesting. I'm getting the actual to-do item from the API. So in this API, when we add a to-do item, it will give me back the actual to-do item, which is saved on the database. I get that to-do item, and then I replace the fake item with this one. So that's what I do. But I'm doing it in an interesting way. Instead of passing the an array like this as a cache, I'm using a data function, data callback. So basically here in the callback, I get the latest version of the cache, and then I go through the cache and I'm finding the fake item, and instead of the fake item, I replace the new item. So that's how it works. So then so basically in other case, I simply push the other one. The reason I'm doing like this is actually, so let's say when we're adding multiple to-do items, so the UI is not sequential. I mean, this function is not this is async function. So basically the data in here and the actual cache could be different. So that's why we need to use this callback to get the latest version of the cache. So, because otherwise we'll be simply replacing some fake item added in a different click. Yeah, that's important. And also we use the false. So we simply do everything in locally. So that's it. So you can give it a try, of course. Right, so now I can add items. Yeah, now it looks nice. Basically, yeah, it's really nice to see how it looks. So basically, once you add items, it will like complete like this. Right, now, yeah, everything looks good, but let's try to put an empty item. Oh, it gives me an error. So basically, this is not the way we should handle errors, because this is just the Next.js default error handling window. It looks nice, but in production we don't see this one, and actually we can do a better job in our application for sure. So this is how we gonna handle the error. So I'm gonna go to the next step. So we have the code base for this one, complete to-do function. I'm gonna copy that. And I'm going to explain what that does. So I'm going to remove the existing add to do function. I'm going to paste the new one, and let's format the document. All right. So yep, that's it. And before we check the code, let's try to rerun the application, see whether it's working or not. All right. So optimistic UI functionality is fine. It's working pretty well. And let's try to add some empty item. Oh, yeah. Now we see something like that. Right. Maybe this is not the way you want to like render errors in your application. Definitely. This is sort of terrible. But I want to show you this is how something possible. The reason I'm showing you is in Slack, basically, when you add a Slack message, if that doesn't go to the database or the API, then it will show some like icon to say this is not sent. Maybe you can retry or something like that, and you can do something similar here as well. So it's up to you to like how you can render the UI. I'm showing you the ways you can do it. So let's check the code, and it's pretty simple. So everything is the same. We have the API call and everything inside the try block, and then we have the catch block. And then when we see the error, we replace the fake item, and then we put another item. It's also fake, but we set the error message field with the actual error. So yeah, we are replacing the fake item with something another fake thing, but with the error message. And then when you are rendering the component, we can check this field error message, and we can add a class, and also we are showing this message as well. And that's how we render that message. And of course you can do any customization here based on what you want to do. Maybe you can simply in this case rather than remove, adding some style, you can simply remove this item and maybe show an error in a different place, or maybe just next to the text box. It's up to you how you handle it. Right, that's it. I think that's it, the demo application. That's the application, and let me, yeah, I think that's it how we can handle the errors. And of course, if you have some questions, and please feel free to like put in the chat box, and I'm gonna discuss them. So, and at the same time, I'm gonna experiment a little bit with this application and see some things we can do, something I can show you. So, all right. Oh, one more thing. If you want to like follow along with this lesson, so go to getstarted.sh. This is something I'm working on right now, and just go through and you can see what I'm doing. And then we have the SWR link, and then you have everything that I mentioned here. Not everything, but you can go through and see how to do things. All right. Okay, that's it. The resources. Let's try to experiment with the app and try to do some things. Right, let's open the inspector. I need to show you something. So I have the network tab. So just look at the data. So now I'm clicking somewhere else, right? So I'm clicking on the network tab. Then I focus the tab, and you can see it will do a call. So basically it will fetch the data again. So let me focus the network tab again. So I need to like expand this. All right, and then I'm gonna focus the my to-do app again. And I think yeah, I need to. Oh, sorry. Basically, don't be like that. Yeah, it's had the new item. So every time this is not rendering well. So basically, every time I focus the window, it will refresh the data from the server again. And maybe it's too much for some application, and you might not need that behavior. If that's the case, you can go to the options in SWR. You can configure that one. So I can show you how to do that. That should be SWR. Yeah, this one was that. And you can go to the options, the documentation. I think it could be options. And here so we have something called validate or revalidate on focus. It's true by default. So you can play it. You can set it false. Play around with that one, and yeah, and there are some other lot of options you can try and do experiment with, and go try this one with your application, and you could change the behavior. Let me show you something else as well. So here I'm rendering this one. I get the to-do items, and let's do another copy of this. All right, to-do item 2. So then I can go to here. So basically I can add items, right, like this. So basically yeah, you can see now it's replicating everything, because what's happening is here is like, because we use the same cache, and the SWR could give me the same data, and it's synced, and that's how I want to show you this caching behavior. And if you look at the data, and we are not fetching again and again, because even though we have two components, it's caching only one is used, one data is fetched. All right, so what else? How about okay, I can show you. So this here about this application, and I can show you some patterns. We use SWR, but this whole application, whole page is static. All the content you see here is static. So we are fetching static data from the Next.js app, but inside the after the page loads, we fetch the data again from the server with SWR, and we render this question box and all the states and everything like this. Everything is happening using SWR. And I'm using GraphQL here. And if you look at it, like here, the logout button takes a little bit time to appear. That's because this is a static page and we fetch the login information later on. And sometimes this is fine in my case because the focus is here. So I don't really need the actual data, actual login information here to use this one. I can simply get it later on. When the user is here, we have the data. Yeah, and there are some optimization that we can use to like make it work. Maybe we can look at the cookie and render the logout button very quickly, and some other things. Yep, I think this is it, some patterns. And since we don't have any questions, and feel free to like if you have anything, feel free to hit me on Twitter. I'm pretty happy to like share my ideas, and maybe ping Shu or someone to get more information. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stay here for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to hit them on the chat. And that's it. Thank you for my thank you for coming for here. Maybe we can do something in next week, maybe. Yep. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Koshri is asking when the GraphQL course. I mentioned in Twitter, like I'm gonna give you the GraphQL course, and I have the content ready. Maybe I'm here in this time. I'm working with the Next.js course, and there are things I need to do. Maybe in 2 weeks, definitely I can have it. Right. Thank you, guys. All right. Okay. This is my first Twitch. It's I think that's the it's some code theory I asked about the GraphQL course. I think it's the code that I launched it like I think maybe 3-4 years ago. When the GraphQL is kind of like an infant and no one is really using it. At that time that course was really good and used a lot of people. But still, for today, I think that's still relevant, and there are some changes we need to do. And then we can make it something great with that. All right. I think Quatri also asked about AI. Yes and no. I'm not like as like a math geek or something like that. I can do a little bit of math, but I'm not a super math guru. So I started doing AI course, and I actually taken the Fast AI course, and then I created something with Fast AI and some introduction. Yes. That's something I could put like here with like something like getting started with deep learning or something like that. That's something we could do. And also like I need some help. Maybe I could ping someone from the Fast AI core team and maybe get them to get some good content. I think they're trying to like make the AI available for everyone, accessible. I think I could get some help from them. Then that's pretty cool if I can do that. Of course, can do it. And of course, like if you want to like learn Fast AI, and I think it's still pretty easy to do. Just check the website, and there are some courses, videos, and it's pretty easy to get started. I think I also has that link like deep learning mantra or something. I can show you. It's